Alright, what's up guys? This is Brennan over here at Vaping Bob. Coming at you today with a really awesome RDA. This is the Igo Mv2. This is the brass sleeve. It comes with both a stainless steel and a brass sleeve, but here on this copper mod, it looks a whole lot nicer with the brass. Gotta tell you guys, I think this RDA is the RDA to end all RDAs. Even compared to like the Mutation X. The Mutation X is a wonderful RDA from what I've seen, but hot damn, that's all I gotta say. I mean, you guys just saw the performance. Here, let's do it again. Albeit that's not very far from the computer. I'm only about 3 feet or so, but hot damn. We're going to do a little up close. We're also going to do a little bit of rebuild because I want to rebuild this thing anyway. And I thought, hey, why not put it on YouTube? Yeah? All right. So, let's see. Oh, almost forgot the box. Pause the video. Like nothing ever happened. All right, so here we have the box that the Igo Mv2 comes in. See, here we have a little stainless steel ring. Not ring. Sleeve. Not going to bore you guys with all the tech stuff here. This is one of the cool things that I want to show you. You know, back here in the little back of the box that every Igo product comes with, we have gift bag. In this gift bag, though, I found something really interesting. Not only are there the O-rings, the extra screws, that silica wick that no one really uses. I mean, more power to you if you use it, but I prefer my old cat. It comes with flat wire. How awesome is that? By the looks of it, I'd say it's 0.4 flat. I could be wrong, but pretty sure it's 0.4 flat. And yeah, about 6 inches of flat wire. I've never had an RDA come with flat wire. Made me really happy. One of the downsides that some of you might find, it doesn't come with a drip tip. This drip tip I have on here is an aftermarket one. It's Bear Claw, from what I've been told. It's actually a really cool drip tip. It's got these little channels in there. Great on flavor. And it is decently wide bore. I'm tempted to, cut it out. But anyway, not a whole lot to talk about. It's very similar in some aspects to every other RDA there is. But where it shines is on the inside. So we're going to take it down and show you what's going on in there. And we'll do a quick little rebuild. Nothing too major. Although it's so fun to build on. And it's so easy to build on. You'll see why in a minute. Alright. Here we have the Igo Mv2. Let me adjust my little blue cloth here. Get rid of that. So, as you can see, it's got the Igo little emblem, and it does come serialized. I got really lucky and got a really low serial. This is number 0199. So close. Anyway, so you can see the bottom. This is UD Igo Mv2, designed in USA. Now this is a gold 510 pin. The 510 threads on it, usual. It does have a really short pin though. It's not as long as I would have thought it was going to be. So, top cap. Again, I'm using the brass one. Now, look at that. Look at those holes. Those are stock post holes, people. you can fit 22 gauge wire in one end and bring it around the other end for 22 gauge quad coils. Holy crap! And look at that juice well. That thing is deep. Now, it does have the T-post design, which is one of my all-time favorite designs for RDAs. 3-post holes is good, but the T-post design is so awesome. It makes it so easy to build coils on. I'm still just flabbergasted at the post holes. Dual 22 gauge, easy. 22 gauge quad coils, easy. So if you like to build quad coils and you like to use that really thick wire, I think you might have some trouble with 20 gauge. It might not work, but it could work. I don't know. I don't have any 20 gauge on hand. But damn. Now, on to the top cap. Look at those air holes. Those air holes are 3.5 millimeters each. So let's see, that's 10.5 millimeters of airflow on each side. Now, something also that's pretty cool, as with a lot of these new RDAs, the airflow is adjustable. This top part of the top cap reminds me a lot of the Stellaire or any of those others with the Cyclops style airflow. But all you have to do is adjust it like so. Now, I've seen some people, I know a few people that have this, and they have no problem whatsoever having it down on these O-rings and being able to twist it. I guess I'm just a weakling. I don't know. I have an issue with it. So I have to pop the top off and then line it up how I want it. Now, I've been using it fully open. I will do a demonstration of it partially closed at the end. But this is how I've been rocking it, that full 10.5 millimeter airflow, and it does wonders. It's not too airy, but it's really airy, but at the same time you get full-on flavor. Like right now I'm using a blueberry cake donut from one of my favorite shops, and I'm getting that full blueberry cake donut. But now, look at oh, now it decides to work. I must have just got some juice on that O-ring. Let's see. Alright, now, watch the tension on this. Like, it clicks together. It is a very tight fit, which is why I had issues prior to being able to, move this without taking the whole top piece off. But I guess maybe my O-rings lost some of its tension. I don't know. But anyway, that's the top cap. There's the deck. Very top piece. It's got a little bit of an indentation here with almost like a shelf. But it's still pretty wide open, and I'm sure that you can drill it out if you're really into that. Works just fine for me, and like I said, I put my Bear Claw drip tip. Now, it is compatible with all of the other drip tips I own. Cloud Chaser drip tip, that's what it is. Cherry Vape's Cloud Chaser drip tip in here, and it works just fine. So, on to the rebuildy portion. Alright, so because I'm not really, really awesome, I'm only partially awesome, I have to still rebuild on my ohm reader. Now, my ohm reader's pretty janky, so bear with me. I've been meaning to get a new one, but I'll get one eventually. Now, using 22 gauge from Vape Supply. Yes, this is a 100-foot spool. Freaking love this stuff. So, we're just going to do regular old dual coil for you. But I'm going to show you how I do it, and some of the tools that I use to do it, because, well, I'm sure you've all seen hundreds and hundreds of rebuild videos, so I'm not going to go too much into it. However, I do want to say that I am using, at the moment, a VTC4 freshly charged. So I am being very safe with my batteries, and if any of you guys are watching this and haven't been around the block for a while, be sure to use the safest batteries that you can. There's lots of them on the market. Things like of course, the Sony VTC4s and VTC5s, the new Samsung 25R. I have one. I've used it. Not 100% a fan, but it works. Now, as you can see, I've got my wire here on ye old helping hands from the Harbor Freight. You'll notice I use a lot of Harbor Freight tools because they're cheap. So I don't always like to torch my wire beforehand, but it does come in handy. I've seen lots of people just kind of glance over it. I like to take my time, just for the sheer fact that I want to make sure I get it fully annealed. And with with the lower gauge wire, you've got less to worry about. But I still prefer to do it this way, especially because once that wire gets heated up, it kind of becomes softer and kinks in it like this, which is why I have these helping hands. Become a little bit easier to work with. Okay, so be very careful if you're using a torch, because it gets hot, and this wire gets hot. I managed to burn myself multiple times. So for the purpose of this is going to be the only amount of wire I use, and that's about 6 inches. I am going to be building kind of low. I did a rebuild on it last night, and it was a little bit higher than I like. Foamed out at 0.23, I think. So, since it has the T-post design, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this wire in half. So now I'm okay, well, not exactly half, but pretty close. Enough to make 2 coils. So we're going to set one of these aside. We're going to use this little precision screwdriver. And we're going to do, let's do 5 wraps. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So, as you can see, they're not quite perfect. Pretty close. This one needs to come down a little. So we'll pull just a touch. And there we go. Alright, take this guy off of here. What do I have behind the curtain of mystery but some tweezers? Now we're going to set these right in here. And we're going to torch these bad boys so they get real nice and tight. Now again, not something you absolutely have to do, because I'm going to put these on here and tweak them a little bit with the battery and the mod anyway. But because I like my coils to look as pretty as I can get them, I like to torch them beforehand and then in the RDA itself. That's how I end up with pretty little coils. They're so cute. Again, very hot. There I am warning you guys, and what do? Burn myself. Alright. So we're going to take these ones and set them aside, since they're still very hot. Blow a little bit more on this here coil. Not the prettiest coil in the world, but it will do. So we're going to take and we're going to put it back on the screwdriver. Should be cool enough now. Now we're going to pull this other little guy over here because it's not quite straight. There we go. Now, what I like to do, since this is the T-post design, I'm going to leave my negative lead much longer. And I'm even going to shorten my positive lead. I just haven't decided which one I want to use yet. Yeah, I think we'll do it this way. So I'm going to snip my positive much, much, much shorter. As you guys can see there. Much shorter. And I tell you the reason why I do that. Because I'll be able to... Because I'm going to take this one, my partner, my negative, and we're going to bend it over. Oh, the computer's going nuts. We're going to bend it over, and we're going to end up doing is putting the positive into this secondary slot. Makes it a whole lot easier, but at the same time makes it kind of more of a pain. Oh, here I am saying this thing's easy to build on, and what am I saying? It's a pain. But if your lead is too long when you do your first coil, it makes it kind of hard to get the second coil in there. It's still possible, but makes it a little bit harder. So we've got it in there. Now we're just going to pull the negative. There we go. And we're going to scrunch those together a little bit more. There we go. Now I was playing with it earlier, trying to build it to where it was a little bit, the coil was a little bit closer to the air hole, and I gotta say I was really disappointed with it. So I like to build mine a little bit high, which works out because you can really take advantage of that big old juice well. So there we have our first coil in there. So we're going to straighten it up a touch, lift it just a little. There we go. Now, of course, tighten down our connections again, because pretty much any time you mess with it when you're building, you're going to loosen your connections a little. So we got to make sure we go in and really keep those tight. Now, as you can see, it's really close to touching, but it's not quite touching. And that's exactly what you want, especially on a lower ohm build. Because theoretically speaking, the closer it is, the less resistance it's going to have, because it's going to have less to go. So I am going to go ahead and pause this here, because you just watched me build a coil. And believe me, I'm going to do it the exact same way. It might look a little bit different in the deck, but ultimately it's going to look the same. So rather than bore you guys with another coil, we're just going to pause it. Okay? Ta-da! And about 0.19. That's about where I wanted to be. I wanted to be about, I guess 0.03 ohms lower, but I'll take 0.19. Anyway, there she is. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off and plug her back in and really make sure that these coils are firing exactly the way we want them to. So, screw her back on. Make sure everything is all nice and tight. Ooh. Ooh, that's pretty. Oh. Because I'm a perfectionist, we're going to tweak it just a little bit more, make sure they're all nice and tight. Make sure we're getting an even fire all the way across the board. Ooh. Isn't she pretty? And those are firing perfectly. Alrighty. So, that's the rebuilding portion. Like I said, it's kind of easy, kind of not, all at the same time. Now, we're going to go ahead and wick her and then vape on her. So, for my wicking style, I like to take a piece about like that, fold it in half, and really give it a good roll. And then we'll slide her through, a little bit more of a roll, start pulling it through. And when I start to really feel some resistance, that's when I kind of pull it back and forth a little, find where it's just right, and stop. So now, need a new cotton ball. So, take this new cotton ball here. Take it apart, pull that off. About that much. And then again, turn it over, roll the hell out of it, and send her through. So, that's how I do it. I don't know, most people are probably similar, but that's me. So, and we take scissors. I like to trim not that much, not a whole lot, because I don't use a whole lot to begin with. And then we'll wick under, and we'll really take advantage of this awesome deep juice well. Now, another thing that I find to be really helpful is to not quite put wick all the way up to the coil. I don't know if you can see that very well, but there's a little bit of a tunnel there. And we'll do the same on the other side. And now comes the only bad part about rebuilding and re-wicking. You always end up going through so much more juice. But when you got a good flavor, who cares? Am I right? So we'll juice her up. You definitely want to make sure that your wicks are fully saturated, because if they're not, it's not pleasant. So, fully saturate the wick. Saturate, saturate, saturate. Nice and juicy. And now. The gold center pin helps so much. Alright, now we're going to go back up top, do some vaping. She's a thing of beauty. So, anyway, that's the Igo Mv2 version 2. Let me rephrase this. The V2 stands for version 2. Alright, so like I said, we're going to go with fully open, both sides, and we're going to do some showing off. That's fully open, and that thing went halfway across my kitchen. So, we're going to turn it. And now it's not wanting to turn. There we go. All right. One air hole closed off. So now we're running at 7 millimeters. As you can see, it's not quite as big of a cloud, but flavor is definitely there. Not very much more, though. I mean, So we'll go ahead and we'll close off another air hole. The hell with it. And close off 2 air holes. So, see, 1 air hole open. Now again, you want to make sure anytime you're dealing with an RDA that the air hole goes right in front of the coil. So, here we go again. Still not as big of a cloud as all 3 open, but that's still 3.5 millimeters of air. That's just air. Now, even then, it's a little airy, but with this low of a build, it's still kind of warm. I mean, I don't need to go running for the water or anything, but still, it's a little warm. All right, so pros and cons. Pros and cons, and then we'll do price that I paid compared to prices online. So, pros, the fact that it's got the T-post design for the positive post, that's a huge pro in my book. I love doing quad coils. They're both fun and interesting, but I also love my single coils. Not single, dual coils. Not big on single coils. Another pro, this airflow. It's 10.5 millimeters. Wide open. It's freaking huge. The adjustable airflow part's really cool, although it's kind of a setback for me because I guess I'm a weakling. It doesn't want to twist for me. For others, I'm sure it works just fine, but again, I like it fully open anyway. Another pro, all the goodies in the box, the extra, sleeve, comes with flat wire. Come on now. Let's see. It's just a badass RDA. It's badass. There's not a whole lot more to say about it. Let's see. It's got so many pros, I can't even think of all of them. It does have kind of a short barrel. It's not too big. I mean, I've seen smaller. I got a Trident V2 that's a lot smaller than that, but all in all, it's not huge. Because, I mean, that's the barrel. It's only, what, an inch? That deep juice well. Huge pro. Huge! Because it's a huge juice well. The fact that the post holes come stock, being able to fit 22 gauge like this. This is the stock airflow. Stock. Comes like this. On to the cons. I can only really think of one, and it doesn't bother me just for the sheer fact that I have a plethora of drip tips, but the fact that it doesn't come with a drip tip. Oh, thought of another pro. Gold-plated center post. That's a big pro. I think that's about it for pros and cons. I do think it's one of the RDAs to end all RDAs. UD really did a good job on this. Price. I found it online at a couple different places, and it was one of them had it for $36.99, another had it for $49.99. Now I bought it at a local brick and mortar here in town, and I paid $50. Come on now. $50 for an original RDA, not a clone, an original. And for this much performance, how can you go wrong? Although you will definitely need some budget hands, because when you've got clones out there that are 15, 30, things like that, you want to go with what you can afford. I'm not going to push this on you, even though I love it. The only reason I got it was because I had some extra money laying around for my birthday. So that's about it. I hope you guys found it enjoyable, and while I can hope that you guys will go out and buy one of these, if you don't, it's not like I'm gonna follow you and harass you about it. But if you do have the extra money and you are able to get one, I don't think they're too difficult to get. I know you might have to, buy one online and then have it shipped, and then there's that waiting thing that nobody wants to do, but we have to sometimes. I hate waiting. I had to wait a week for this thing. So, anyway, that's it. I want to give a shout out to Jason Reeve for letting me have this webcam. I know I did a video on it once before, my previous video, and I was going to give him a shout out then and I forgot, so here's that shout out. Thanks for watching, everybody. Still waiting to come up with something good to end on a video. I think for now we're just going to end it like this. Have a good day and enjoy vaping.